Hi, Gayatri, welcome.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening, everybody.
We can hear you, Surekha. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Yes.
Good.
जोशी मॅडम नमस्कार.
Namaskar. Hi, everybody.
Mr. Vishnu, can you just introduce your family to us? Who's on the screen?
Okay, yes, I'll do that. Just give me a moment. Fine. Gopal is my eldest brother.
Namaskar.
He's more than 20 years older than me. He's now 86.
Okay.
Now, Dattatreya, that is GK, is the middle brother. I'm the youngest. He's around about 76. So Gopal is an architect, town planner, and he's a chartered architect. So
Okay.
of international renown. Just now he's in the US.
Okay.
Brother is a bridge engineer who has done design of most of the bridges in India, including,
Great.
of course, the big ones in Maharashtra. Then, of course, Gayatri, you know.
Yes.
Then,
Kanere.
then I have, Anaga. Anaga is my nephew Shankar, who was with us when we got married. It was my father, Shankar, and the two of us who were together. So his wife, Anaga, she is a chartered accountant.
Okay.
Pravina Kulkarni, that is where my brother-in-law will log in. She is wife of Lieutenant General Surendra Kulkarni.
Okay. So welcome,
So they've
Anaga.
sent a
Welcome.
recording because he's recovering from an illness. He's not well. So
Okay.
he sent a recording. We'll be playing that.
So
Samir
welcome.
sir will be playing that.
So welcome, Mr. DK Kanere. Welcome, Pravina and Anaga. Anybody else from your family?
That Sandhya is there. She is a very close friend, right from college days, junior college days of Sujata.
Okay. Welcome, Sandhya. Dr. Sushma Malik is from IAP. She has been a close friend of all of us. Welcome, Sushma.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
No, in fact, she's like family. I mean, you just like you were her guide and mentor. She's also one of them. In fact, she was fortunate to have, Sujata was fortunate to have many guides and mentors.
No, we were fortunate to
Starting
have
from
Sujata.
Dr. Anand Pandit. Unfortunately, he's not there amongst us.
Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt. So with Mr. DK Kanere, both of us have also joined his children, Madhav and Meenal Kanere.
Welcome, Madhav and Meenal.
Thank you.
Mr. Yashwant Bhave is the chairman of AKI. Surekha Joshi is the AKI research coordinator.
Sorry.
And she also knew Sujata well. Welcome, Devansh, our AKI youth wing member.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, hi.
I think I was on mute. I'll just tell you who Madhav and Meenal are. They are, Meenal is an ophthalmologist, very promising, a gold medalist herself. And Madhav also gold medalist. He is a chartered accountant. So they are with DK. They are all together on that phone.
Thank you, both of you.
Right.
Welcome, Dr. Rajesh.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Who's NK?
Hello, Rajesh.
Hello, ma'am. Hello.
That's me, Narayan.
Hi, Narayan.
Son.
You're from
Yeah.
USA logging
Yes,
in?
the NK, yes.
Yes.
Okay, welcome. Rajesh and I were in PALS with Sujata long term.
Yes, ma'am. Long association.
Yeah. Welcome Neeta Negandhi. She is Aki IC member. And we used to regularly meet in IC every quarter for last 2 years. So she also knows Sujata well. Welcome, Neeta.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Chaudhary. Yes,
Yes,
we
Neeta.
all, we all miss Dr. Sujata, and really sad that I'm not known her too well.
Welcome, Dr. Anita Wagre. She is a radiologist head at Jahangir Hospital. And she was batchmate of Sujata Kanere. Welcome, Anita. Who's 133177? Can you rename yourself, please? Welcome, Bella.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Bella is HOD Pediatrics, Grand Medical College. She was a student when I was associate professor. So I know her over long years.
I was just telling my mother today evening about you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You being my teacher, yeah.
Nice to see our students being HODs and all. Anita, Vati Kinikar,
Ma'am has
HOD
been
at
a
BJ.
teacher to almost all of us. So she's a teacher of teachers.
Thank you, thank you. Aarti is a head of pediatric department at BJ Medical Sassoon. She is also a JJ student.
Has she joined? I can't see her.
No,
Where
I'm
is
not
she?
seeing her. So Samir is saying we are starting our program in next 2 minutes. Okay, Samir. Nirmala Dharap is a pediatrician from Pune. Welcome. This will be recorded on a YouTube by Samir. So those who miss it, we will be sharing the video link. And generally we found we get a lot of reviews for the YouTube for people who have missed being live attending.
So dear friends, very good evening. Madam, can we start?
Yes, please do.
Right. So dear friends, very good evening and welcome to the one more episode of the Zindagi Zara Hatke. We all know the life of the each one is the unique, but few are Hatke. And the Zindagi Zara Hatke program is focused on fostering the innovation, creativity and uniqueness in the various aspects of the life. the program aims to promote the discussion and provide insight that can help the individual lead a healthier and more fulfilled life. Though we have started this program particularly to address the issue faced by the adolescent, like healthy lifestyle choices, unique career choice, deals with some diverse situation and stress management. But what we see that not only this thing is only for the true for the adolescent, but we all are the sufferer of such unique life experiences, and many people around us also live and experience the resilience of the human spirit and the extraordinary life journey of their life, and beautifully found the unexpected places make them see life Zara Hatke. And therefore, we have started, or we can say restarted our program with the aim to explore such life journey, create the learning lessons to teach us and motivating us about our own life living, how we can progress. We are trying to uncover the strength, creativity, and unwavering hope that blossom even in the face of the diversity. Today also we are going to explore such same thing with some extraordinary life journey of the one unique member of our life Aki family, and we will definitely shortly introduce her. Before I introduce her and the actual program, let I introduce the Aki first, being a national coordination of the Aki. Just a minute, I am sharing my slide. Slides are visible?
Yeah.
So Aki, we majority of us is know about the Aki. It started in the 2008 with the aim and objective to give the good insight on mission with the holistic health in the children and adolescent and a young adult by the promoting the healthy lifestyle and prevention of the lifestyle associated diseases, with the main pillar that include the teachers, parents, children, and youth. And of course, we have now added the grandparent pillar also. We having a unique 11 centers forum with more than 250 volunteers across the India and now all over the world also, willingly working totally voluntary for the our organization, that is the Association of the Adolescent and Child Care in India. This association is headed by the Mr. Yashwant Bhave, our honorary chairperson, our Dr. Swati Bhai Bhave, madam, our executive director, with the honorary secretary, Mrs. Sarmila Lele. Myself, Dr. Samir Shah, is a national coordinator. We having a ethical committee headed by Dr. Anuradha Suvani, and Dr. Surekha Joshi will be the research coordinator. Our four forum and our different centers are led by the leading pediatricians and the medical professionals across the country. We are regularly contributing our activity, mainly urban-based population and the students and the teachers and the parents related activity. We had already celebrated our fifth year anniversary in the 2022, and this is the 17th year what we are consecutively working hard for the adolescents. So with this short introduction of the Aki, now I requesting our chairperson, Mr. Yashwant Bhave, to say a few words regarding the today's talk. Yashwant sir.
Yashwant, please unmute.
Okay. Friends and Akians, we have gathered today to pay our homage and respect to a wonderful person, Dr. Sujata Kanere. She is no more with us. We have interacted with her on many, many occasions, especially Swati, who regarded her as a member of our family. I remember she was always there for Swati, both professionally and personally. Always smiling, she was an embodiment of inspiration and hope for her colleagues and students. as former professor and head pediatrics, in charge pediatric neurology at the Somaiya Medical College, Mumbai, Aki IEC member and active volunteer from Aki Mumbai Center, she indeed touched many hearts and lives. But what is really inspiring is how she bravely fought against hypersensitivity pneumonitis, a chronic lung disease, for over a decade. As a doctor, she well knew the progression, yet she kept on discharging till her very end, both her professional and family duties and responsibilities. Kept on giving her advice with a smiling face. This, to me, is an important lesson to learn. God took her away in the midst of a very rewarding life. Very few will have the equanimity displayed by her as the end drew near. In words of poet Saqib Lakhnavi, world was listening with rapt attention. Only I fell asleep while telling the story. Zamana bade शौक से सुन रहा था, जमाना बड़े शौक से सुन रहा था, हम ही सो गए दास्तां कहते कहते. May her soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the right start of the program with such a good Saidi, what you have told about the Zindagi, what gives us. And now I requesting our executive director, Dr. Swati Bhave, very close friend or family member of Dr. Sujata Kandre, to introduce Madam and why we choose her life journey in the today's Zindagi Zara Hatke program.
Thank you, Samir.
Light.
I'm really feeling very overwhelmed with emotions, as Sujata has been part of my life and inner circle over the last many years. So I'm not going to speak extempore, but I'm going to read out. Sujata and I met in 1997 when, as Honorary General Secretary of IEP and West Zone PALS Coordinator, we had organized a big program for training PALS instructor in Bombay Hospital. Working together in PALS training workshop, soon this professional connection blossomed into a lifelong deep friendship. First, my role was of a mentor, helping and guiding her through professional journey, including elections and NNF. And then it upgraded into being colleagues. We wrote books, co-authored many chapters, including the first textbook of adolescent medicine. And soon from a colleague, she became my peer reviewer. Whenever I had to give any oration lectures, whenever I had to give some keynote addresses, I would share my PPT with her. And whatever her health, she would send me very quickly a critical review and suggest changes, which always made my lecture better. I will always remember for every lecture that I will now make in future because I don't have her to give her output. As happens when two women become close friends and have trust in each other, we confide and we share various aspects of our professional, family events, take advice and counseling for facing our various ups and downs with the trust that this will not be shared with anybody else, but on a one-to-one basis. And this is a relationship, what we shared over years, not discussing details as these are all confidential between both of us. Initially, when I used to confide in her my various ups and downs in my autoimmune disease journey, she used to say, "Ma'am, you're my role model for any illness I will get in future." And I used to say, "Sujata, Shubha bol, don't say this. God has blessed you with a very robust health, and I'm sure He will continue to bless you with this robust health, and you will not become like me." But one cannot predict what God has in mind for each one of us. Last 10 years, our role was reversed. As she developed various comorbidities and she struggled with a deteriorating pulmonary function, she became my role model. Whenever I felt low with my episodes of dyspnea, I would take her as my inspiration. As she would say, "Ma'am, I'm fighting for each breath," whenever I talked with her, especially in the last 6-8 months. And when I saw her I felt my episodes of periodic dyspnea were just nothing compared to it. And every time I discussed with Yashwant that if Sujata can be so positive with what she's going through, I certainly have no reason to complain. We spoke at least once or twice a week. In last 6 months, when she had difficulty in talking for prolonged periods, it would just be my message going, "How are you, Sujata? Call me if you're feeling up to it, remembering you." And very often these were the things, and she would say back, "Ma'am, not able to speak now." And we used to exchange heart emojis. Our last virtual meeting was in May when we had our Aki IC quarterly meeting, and we chatted after that. Every year I used to send a happy CA day on 1st July because of Vishnu, and she would promptly reply with the emoji. This July also I sent her a CA and noted that she should not send a prompt smiley. My only regret is that in the month of July, I went through hospitalization. My family also went through a lot of health illnesses, and I could not connect, though I realized that she's not responding. But I got some telepathy in the last week of passing away when I sent her a message on 28th July. I've kept photoshots of all her chats. This again went unanswered, and I knew something is seriously wrong when I got Gayatri's message on the WhatsApp chat from Sujata's phone. I really miss her. Every time I have some health episodes, I miss her professionally, discussing as a doctor, like a younger sister, giving me all the counseling. And I really miss her. Samir, you can take over.
Madam, we understand your emotional flow. We definitely think it will be really very difficult for the all of us, but it's a really a life. What we can say that वहाँ तूफान भी हार जाते हैं जहाँ कश्तियाँ जीत पे होती है, and for that purpose only we meet here because she lived such a one decade with such a diverse situation, even though totally daily in the lovely smiley face, and that will be motivating so many of the us. So let's start the journey of her life with a very wonderful person of her life and very mentor of her life, Dr. Sushma Malik, ex-professor emeritus and HOD pediatrics neonatology at TMNC and BY Nair Hospital, Mumbai. And currently, she is consultant advisor at Romila Palliative Care, Sneha. She is one of the mentor and the very, very close observer of her life. So let's start with the, how the journey of life is going for the Dr. Sujata Kandre. Let's hear from her, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Sami. Thank you, Madam Bhave. Thank you, Yashwantji, and everybody at Aki to allow me to express a few words. And once again, good evening to everyone. We have gathered here to honor our very close friend, colleague, and a very, very dear person, Dr. Sujata Kanere, who tragically left us in July this year. May I share a few slides, Samir?
Yes, ma'am.
Sushma is showing us slides. Welcome, Dr. Vasant Khalatkar, President of IAP. Thank you for joining. You also knew her very well through the neurology chapter.
Are my slides visible?
No, you're not yet sharing your screen.
I haven't? Okay. 1 minute.
Madam, can you share from my side if you don't mind?
No, I just added 1 or 2. I'm just sharing. 1 second. I'm sorry I didn't go on the share. 1 minute. I'm just sharing.
Vasant sir, very good evening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I speak? Okay. Good evening.
Yes, sir. Yashwant, please go on.
Actually, my network is unstable. That's why I want to speak first. Good evening, all. Really, I was actually shocked when I got the news of Sujata. you can understand. Though she was senior and I was calling her with her name, Sujata. So my first interaction was with her in year 2006 when I was IIB President Nagpur, and along with Sujata, I had done that National Maharashtra State Neonatology Conference. I never felt she's ordering me or like something, but she always was, अरे वसंत होऊन जाईल, तुला काहीच करायची गरज नाही, डोंट वरी, तू कशाला टेन्शन घेतोय, मी आहे तुझ्या पाठीशी. आणि त्यानंतर जे एक रिलेशन सुजाता सोबत झाले, कधी बोलायचो मी नेहमी, whenever whether it's my election, whether it's a neuropedicon, I was always calling her Sujata, neuropedicon, you are supposed to come there, whether it's a Kashmir, whether it's a Agra. But somehow I was not knowing that much seriously that she's suffering from all these elements. But really, I lost one of my best friend, mentor. I hope she should get the peace, and I really convey my message to family also. The only word, दोस्त सही में जो मिलते हैं लाइफ में, ऐसे दोस्त भी मिलना चाहिए कि जिनको अपन कभी भूल नहीं सकते. Thank you once again. I'm really sorry. Thank you, Samir.
Thank you, sir, for your expressions. Now we will requesting Dr. Sushma Malik ma'am to express her emotion and the life journey of ma'am in brief. Sure.
And thank you, Dr. Samir. Can you all see my screen was paused. Is it paused now?
Then put it on.
Do I do it again?
No, put it on
We are
slideshow.
able to see. We are able to see. You can just
Why
do
am I
the
not
slide share.
able to see? Yeah, 1 second. Why can't I see it?
Sushma, will you allow Samir to please?
Okay. No, just a second now, because
because you
just
know we are
1
losing
second.
time, so Samir can project.
Just please.
Till then, anybody else who does not have slides can start speaking till Sushma sets his.
Madam, you can start here from here.
Yeah.
Start.
Okay, can we go up? Are you sharing, Samir?
Yes, ma'am, I am sharing, madam. You can start it.
Okay. So I was just saying that I would like to share with you a few slides on her amazing life, her professional achievements, and her multifaceted personality. Next. She was, as we all know, she was just not an ordinary person. She had a string of, achievements and degrees to her. There was no stopping to her education or achieving anything. She was a consultant in medical education with the MUHS. She's been the former professor and head of Department of Pediatrics and Neonatology and chief of Pediatric Neurology and Neurodevelopment Clinic, KJ Somaya Hospital. And her neonatal experience was over more than 3 decades. She had been the president, the secretary of the Maharashtra state branches, joint secretary and treasurer, and so on and so forth. And she was a recognized teacher and a guide for pediatrics. Her neurodevelopmental experience, as well as particularly, she was very fond of the subject on epilepsy in pediatric neurology, which was over 2.5 decades. And publications were forthcoming every now and then. And she had more than 80 publications with so many chapters, reviewers, and everything. And she took active part in whatever she took, She was so actively involved. It wasn't just a superficial thing that she would do. And I think that was one of her major strengths. Whatever she took upon herself, she completed it. She did it with her heart. She did it with her mind. And she put everything into it to bring it into a success. She was also in the IAP task force as a PALS instructor, specifically, again, more than 2.5 decades, and a very, very famous instructor. People would flock to attend her sessions. She I was very closely involved with her in many of our activities, especially for breastfeeding. Just excuse me. And over the last 3 decades, or even a little more than that, we were not only colleagues together in 2 institutes. She would come so often to Nair, and I would go to Somaya, and we had such cordial and good relationships, and we would conduct a number of advocacy programs for kangaroo mother care, for breastfeeding, for human milk banking. And we worked not only at the hospital level, but at the grassroots levels. Please go ahead. So as I said, that she was a loving and a charming, not only as a person, but as a pediatrician and a neonatologist. And that's what children like. And that's what neonates, I think, they like a smiling face. And so she gelled in this situation so well, and she was a passionate teacher with a long list of fans, and she was a keen researcher. And then she went on to the pinnacle of being the professor and head at KJ Somaya. And she had a research experience of more than 25 years and has 14 years as a professor. Her leadership qualities, you cannot just put in the slides, just 2 or 3 things you can write, and they're really very, very many. So she was, of course, a very compassionate and active person in the academics, and especially I was very impressed with her research abilities, which were really exceptional. Next. Who was she as a person, and who was she to me, To me, she was a very good friend. She understood, and, we women always land up with some or the other autoimmune and disorders, which, sorry, the men don't get, so often as we all get. So she used to always be there for me in my times when the health was deteriorating or I had problems, and she had me. And we used to discuss, and actually it was a trio. It was Dr. Swati Bhave, myself, and her, We used to all motivate each other. And she always saw, what was unique about her. She used to see everything positive. She used to say, no, ma'am, please. आप ऐसे कर सकते हो तो मैं भी कर सकती हूँ. आप बिल्कुल मत ये सोचो. I'm going to be there. And she really proved herself. And I will tell you all later how she proved herself that she was along with all of us. She was able to, carry her work with enthusiasm, her presence of mind. And what was most striking about her was her smile. And she could win over everything, Despite being so strong-willed and a determined person, her smile won over everybody. Her empathetic attitude towards others when she used to interact, and not only professionally, but I think as a mother and as a wife, she knew where she could balance the work-life relationship. And she ensured that she had enough time for the family, brought up her children very well, and proved to be an excellent daughter, sister, niece, and a very, very good wife. Yes, please, next. She was just in short about her life and how it has been such an inspiring life. She was born to some inspiring parents, Her father was a major general, and she inculcated all the habits, of equity, of working hard, of being always very supportive to others, because she received all the encouragement, the supportive and appreciative nature that her parents would always, encourage her to do. And her mother, next, and her mother always believed that, whether you're a male or a female, both of you are equal, gender was never a problem. And these habits and these values which Sujata carried, I think they came more from her mother. And so she was also very strong, ambitious, resilient, and determined. And so was Sujata, very determined that no matter what happens, no matter what God has decided about her illness, she is going to win over everything, And she did that. I must tell you all, in the last 3 years, the number of interactions that I've had with her, even just before my retirement, she came as an external examiner with us, at Nair Hospital for my MD pediatrics. And she said, ma'am, I'm not too well, so please keep it very simple. And we had kept it, and she made it. And she didn't, she was really too good. She has a lovely family. We all know Vishnu, her husband. We know Narayan, the son, Gayatri, and her brother, and many other people who can be seen in this photo. She went on, as I said, that illness was never a stopping stone for her. It was, in fact, that hurdle made her jump even higher. And she took up the UK fellowship with the Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health. She did her fellowship in pediatric neurology under Dr. Helen Cross at Great Ormond Street. And she also did a fellowship. She was the fellowship advisor. She represented at WHO in 2005, 6, and 7. And she represented COMHAD at the World Health Assembly. As I had previously told you all, that she has a lot of research abilities, and she was awarded, rightfully so, in 2019. Please go on. And now came the turning point where we all worked together, because in 2020 came the pandemic. And at that time, she came out first to tell us that, ma'am, I'll help you all everything with online. And she really did that. We had a very successful Mumbai Breastfeeding Promotion Committee meetings online in 20 and 21. And in 2022, she was asked to become the president. And in 2022 and in 2023, she continued, another year of her presidentship. And little did we know what destiny was. In 2024, she, of course, continued with a lot of world breastfeeding programs, even after the COVID and during COVID, not only at our hospital, but there were lots of other programs and many competitions that were being held. She went ahead and she launched, even with MUHS, the Degree Plus program in 2023. Here we can see Dr. Aruna Vanikar. And, this life, jo jara hatke thi, didn't just stop there with a few awards and scholarship. And in this year, she's a recipient of so many awards, and because of lack of time, I'm not going to go ahead with it. She was decided by the jury of Mumbai Breastfeeding Promotion Committee that she would be awarded, the Lifetime Achievement Award. But little did we know. And this award is given to people who have had more than 20 years of dedicated service for the promotion and protection and support of breastfeeding. And we didn't even have to think twice before selecting her. And I had the honor to talk to her and inform her, and she was overjoyed. But I wasn't aware that she is calling me very softly. I thought maybe I knew that she was failing in her health, but I had no idea that she was in the ICU in another 3-4 days when we had informed her. And ultimately, it was really a twist of fate that just a couple of days, I think 4 days before receiving the award, she left for a heavenly abode. I'm so thankful that even in the hour of grief, Vishnu, Narayan, and Gayatri fulfilled her wish. She kept telling them, y'all must go irrespective, even if I'm in the ICU. And that speaks volumes about her. That speaks how she was, It really gives me goosebumps to talk. That just the day before in the evening and in the morning, Vishnuji told me she asked for her iPad and she looked at the last couple of years of photos of MBPC, of all the programs where she was a judge, she was a part, where she was the president, where she was our secretary, and she really looked at everything here. It is really unfortunate that we have lost such a beautiful person and who was doing so
Madam,
well.
Madam, it's a really a eye-opening journey what you are saying.
Yes.
And today we have a long list of the people who are really going to
Yes.
speak about that. I think I
Okay,
slightly
thank you so much.
interfering
Thank you
you
so
in
much.
between. It's a
Sorry for
really
having
great.
exceeded the time. Yeah, thank you.
Madam, thank you. So today we are really going to explore the really one of the extraordinary individual who is redefined the life and who is really just not the survive. It's a thrive, but not the survive. And chronic illness will be overcome by her victory because of the her nature. What Madam has just said. So we are just going to speak. Know about the her story with the people who are really very close to him. Very well said by the Dr. Sushma Malik ma'am. So let's ask for the better half of the madam, Dr. Vishnu Kandre sir, about the details about the how the diseases progress and what is the basic life journey before what the diagnosis was there and how it will be proceed, sir.
Good evening. Before I begin, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Before I begin, I consider it my duty as well as privilege to represent the family and thank AKI Honorary Director Dr. Swati Bhave ma'am, Honorary Chairman Mr. Yashwant Bhave sir, Honorary Secretary Dr. Sharmila Lele ma'am, and of course, I cannot leave behind today's moderator who is in charge of the entire program, Dr. Samir Shah, with whom actually I have been interacting over the rather, he has been chasing me over the last 1 month. So thank you all really for not just for remembering Sujata, but for really celebrating and presenting Zindagi, Zara, Hatke, the extraordinary life journey of Sujata. We are really happy and touched that you have recognized her contribution to AKI, which I know it was very close. Practically not a day passed when she spoke to Swati ma'am or her phone call used to come. And I remember the many trips because it was on my way to office. So I would drop her and go ahead on A Road. I remember that very well. And often trips to Pune also. So yes, you have been very close and we really thank you. And we are happy and touched that you have invited all three of us and also our other family members to share our thoughts and our memories. Basically glimpses of our life journey with all of you. You have really conceptualized the program well. So you were one of the guiding lights, as you already mentioned. So I won't go over again into that. But I'll just tell you my early memories of Sujata. Of course, they start when about 32 years back, I met Sujata over 32 years ago, when she was young, energetic, and full of life. And she remained so, a very happy and loving soul right till the end. Ours was an arranged marriage. So, as was the tradition back then, I remember meeting her and her family at her house in Pune. Pohaचा कार्यक्रम असतो, so we had gone for that. And I visited with my eldest brother Gopal, who is there online just now. Actually, later she confided in me that she thought him to be my father, as he was more than 20 years older than me. So in that first meeting, we spoke to each other for over an hour or even more. And the topics were ranging from family, future plans, and that was our first meeting, mind you, profession to practically everything under the sun, till we were reminded by our parents and our elders. So with her, this chemistry and bonding, the relationship that took off, really never looked back. No, but one thing I want to tell you remarkable about her, I remember even at that young age, full of enthusiasm and fresh ideas and vigor, she carried a very sensible head over her shoulders. And I'll tell you something which will make you realize it. No, much later, when we used to chat about life and our life, we spoke about the choice of a life partner. I guess that always happens a few years or rather many years after marriage. So I asked her how she chose me. When I was still, at that time, I was still in the early years of my practice and operating from a rented office. It was not a very big practice because I had started on my own. There was no chartered accountant in our family earlier. So I asked her as to how she chose me. So she immediately replied that it was the capability and potential of a person that mattered and not really what state he was in at that point of time. No, in fact, with a twinkle in her eye, she added, I followed a simple rule. Would I be fine getting up next to the person and see him in bed next to me? Well, seeing his face first thing in the morning, if I'm comfortable with that, then that was Sujata for you. Of course, as in all marriages, we had our share of differences and even fights. But here again, she had a golden rule that really made our life so well, full and complete. She said, whatever may be our differences, we have to always communicate, because if we stop talking to each other, then that's the end of the road. That was one thing. And the second rule, which we always invariably followed, was no differences were carried on to the next day. So whatever it was, it ended that day. The next day was a new, fresh day. So that's how it was. Just something about how she came here from Pune, because she was in Pune at that time. After completing her Lady Hardinge's graduation, medical college, she had come to Pune, and actually she joined KEM Hospital under Dr. Anand Pandit, so who was her mentor and guide. And in fact, as Sushma ma'am mentioned about research, I distinctly remember she used to tell me that she was actively involved in an international ICMR project, which was some longitudinal study of children. So it was developmental pediatrics. So when she came to Mumbai after that, again a remarkable thing, because my father was more than 80 years old at that time. So she took a sabbatical for 3 years. She said, I need to focus on my new relationship. And my priorities immediately after marriage are raising a family and looking after my father, of course, and my nephew. And of course, Narayan, who was immediately born. Now, once Narayan grew up, she went back to medicine and met Dr. N.C. Joshi. I remember, Dean of Wadia Children's, who immediately took her in. There she developed a keen interest in pediatric neurology. In fact, he has sent a message, but she worked under Dr. K.N. Shah. He couldn't come today. The internationally renowned senior pediatric neurologist. That was her first brush with epilepsy. She joined there as an epilepsy research officer. But I'll tell you another incident. She was so dedicated to research that I remember, when returning from my office at Nariman Point, I used to drive down to Parel. And even at 7:30, she would be busy working. So sometimes if she had to continue working, I would say, come down, let's go to Meenakshi Bhavan opposite and have some snacks. Then she would go back, or else she had completed for the day. Then we used to come home. So that was the dedication.
Sir, can I
Yes.
share one few slides of the hours of the as a Aki researchers? She
Yes,
is
yes.
doing a very excellent work as a clinical member of our IEC.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
she, with the inception, she is with the Dr. Swati Bhave. And with the at the just inception, they had released a book, and they did a very innovative way life skill education, that is special planning program of our Aki, that will be started from the Mumbai with the along with the Sujata madam and the other people. You just see that thing in my slide. Are you able to see this slide?
No,
I
can't
mean,
see them.
I just comment on those slides.
Yeah.
We launched Aki in 2008
Actually,
at
the slide
KC
is not
College.
visible.
And I am sharing.
Yeah, now there.
We started Aki in 2008 at KC College, and we had a life skill education program for the first year KC College students for 2 days, followed by parenting LSE workshop for 2 days. And you can see in the middle picture, Sujata and the other faculty. And Sujata and I wrote many co-chapters, but we wrote one book together on headache in children and adolescents. And we both really worked hard on this. And here you can see our photos with the book where this was released in Pedicon. In Somaya, Sujata organized many Aki programs. And one program was when Ruth Etzel from IPHO had come, and she organized a tobacco poster competition program for all the medical students and nurses at Somaya College, and a panel discussion on tobacco prevention. She also organized a number of parenting programs at Somaya College. Samir, you can, yeah. And you can see here that the dean had done inauguration, and this is a group photo with the KC College first year students. And here you can see the Aki IEC webshot virtual meeting. And the here we were in many conferences always being together. Thank you.
Yes,
I
so
mean,
this
any
is
more
one
people?
of the my good interaction with her, because we two are the clinician of our Aki IEC, and we are representing our medical fraternity for the IEC. So we have a very regular interaction regarding that thing. So can you
I would
say?
like to tell one here. We have a Aki yearly training for Aki IC members. And in one of the training, she was not joining. So I phoned and she said, ma'am, I'm in Hinduja ICU. I'm just getting admitted. I said, you first take care of her, forget the training. And we decided that we will not pressurize for the training. But she is a diehard person. And as Sushma said, she will commit. Once she takes a dedicated commitment, she will fulfill it come what may. So in spite of her pulmonary fibrosis, her oxygen concentration going low, Sujata worked hard on that training program and she completed that training. And then she said, ma'am, when am I going to get my certificate? And that was a zeal of learning, training till the very end. And all the other Aki IC members who didn't know before were amazed at like what grit this person has and what dedication and commitment. Any other person would have said, I'm sorry, I can't undergo this program and excuse me. And yes, we would have definitely excused her, but that was not Sujata. She had to work till the end. Yes.
Actually, the last photo, that was what we had captured. Before that, she wear that oxygen tube, but she just removed that oxygen tube for the just better photographs.
Yeah.
That's the dedication what she had. So, sir, can you share some, give the focus on the how, what the disease she suffered for, and the how long
Yes,
that
one
journey
second.
was?
Yes.
Our
Now,
Aki IC
what I-
chairman, Dr. Anuradha Sowani, wanted to come and pay her respects, but she's doing the grandparenting duty. She's attending the annual function of her grandchild. So she sent her best wishes for Sujata and her loving words of what she did in the IC. Yes, Vishnu, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, Dr. Samir, I request you to invite Narayan, our son who's in the US online, and then followed by Gayatri, who would share their experience,
Definitely. Sir,
especially what you
just the
want
close
to know about. Yes.
Now, sir, my few questions are basically for the all the close family member, all of the three. You any of the three member, you can take this question as per your convenience. That's not an issue. First question, that is regarding the detail about the diseases. Yes, sir.
Yeah, what you can do is if you can just read all the three questions, because that will come in a flow, rather
Absolutely.
than crisscrossing. Just read the questions and then Narayan and Gayatri will deal with it.
Absolutely. Sure, sir. So the first question regarding the detail about the disease, its diagnosis and its a progress, how you can monitor that. What is the mental status of the madam at the different stages of the all illness? Being a close family relatives, how you can just look after this disease duration and how you can interpret yourself in behalf of her. How was the experience of the treating doctors and the hospitals? And what are the your take-home message after this whole exercise?
Right. Take-home messages I'll deal with. Now, Narayan, can you come online?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yes, Narayan.
Yeah. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're visible.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just quickly go over her medical history as the disease started and progressed. So as you know, she was professor and head of pediatrics at Somaya Medical College for pediatric neurology, and she took her retirement in October of 22 at the age of 60 years. And even that decision was mainly because her stand was the right thing to do would be the doctor who's treating you cannot have some sort of device plugged into their nose and look sick themselves. And so she said, what confidence will my patients have if I come in looking like this? And so she said, it's time now. I need to focus on my health. So that's what triggered her decision back then. But overall, the history in 2014, she used to get breathless for climbing even one staircase of flights of stairs, and she had missed beats, and then there were no other complaints. They did an ECG and 2D echo that came out normal. On the stress test, she could not do more than 2 kilometers, even with a slight elevation on it. So she was asked to go to the gym, get fit. She went to the gym. I remember because I went with her. And she did some exercise for 2 months. She had a personal trainer. But it was quite a challenge even back then. I mean, it was surprising amount of challenge for someone who's considered to just be unfit. So in December 2015, this was shortly after I left for the US. I left in August of 2015, and in December 2015, mom had pain in her lungs. So she got a CXR done and an HRCT chest done. And then she was diagnosed to have hypersensitivity pneumonitis, which is an interstitial lung disease. So that diagnosis was officially made in December 2015. Dr. Mahashur was her primary treating doctor, and he started her on steroids on Jan 1, 2016. She started with 30 mg and tapered down to 10 mg. And when she'd have flare-ups again, she'd bump it back up to 30 mg, but mostly stayed at 10 mg of steroids, which continued till almost the very end. She did intermittent intensive pulmonary rehab, which is physiotherapy, for 2 or 3 months every 2 years, which kept her going very well. In fact, towards the end, she was doing daily, once in the morning, once in the evening, physiotherapy, very intensive. And that's actually what helped her keep going and kept her in a state where she was still functional. And so she knew that and prioritized that. In April 2017, she got viral pneumonia, followed by liver abscess. And that also diagnosed to have steroid-induced diabetes after that. So azathioprine was stopped and only steroids at 10 mg, which continued over the years, as I mentioned. On 31st December 2019, she had chest pain, and so an angioplasty was done with 2 stents. She was luckily already in hospital when the symptoms showed up, and she could be rushed to the OT right away. Her HRCT chest showed 35% fibrosis, which was stable for 3 years from 2019 to 2021. And in her words, it was manageable, and she was able to continue all her activities rather well. She had cataract surgery of one of her eyes done in between. I remember there was a discussion about, oh, should we do both? Should we do one? Because she was considered high risk with all the other medications and treatments ongoing for the interstitial lung disease. And so she only got one done at that time. In 22, she had COVID Omicron, mild symptoms, but it was like a long COVID, which was in Jan. And then she had another one, which was asymptomatic in June, right after she returned from the United States. She'd actually come to visit me. My whole family had come to visit me. I really wanted mom to come over and see what I was doing and how I was doing in the US after I had started working. Just something that you want your parents to come and see where you live, what you do. But sadly, when she got back, she got the second bout of COVID. And that led to breathlessness and cough for almost 2 months for her. And then she took leave in July and August and only did physiotherapy on oxygen. In July of that same year, the chest HRCT scan showed 40% fibrosis. This was an increase from the previous 35%. But in September, she went back to work. In October, she got dengue, from which she recovered. But starting 1st of November, she needed oxygen for many hours a day. She tried stepping up steroids, but finally, her now primary care doctor, Dr. Radhika, added MMF in December. And when she started needing oxygen to walk even within the house, that was a massive change in her day-to-day life. But thereafter, not much change. She waited for the MMF tablets to kick in. She continued on her steroidal dose. And then from end of February 22, she started physiotherapy twice a day. That's where it started, twice a day, because the disease had begun to progress a lot. And so the pulmonary rehab, it helped quite a bit. And in mid-March, however, peripheral neuropathy set in for her. She lost a lot of muscle mass. In 3 months, she lost about 10 kgs. So she had to stop this MMF drug, and she started insulin and a bunch of other medicines. Her sugars were getting escalated related to the steroids. And so she was doing a constant job in tracking all the details of the various medicines, which firstly I think was only possible because she was a doctor herself. But it was quite a task to keep that maintained and going and ensure that right dosages of everything were being fed in terms of medications. So she required intermittent oxygen on her small SimplyGo Mini off and on multiple times through the day. And she used to go with 2 pulse setting on it, leading a near normal life. After which, in October, she became very unwell. In 2023, the HRCT showed acute exacerbation and acute infection. All tests came negative. Stepped up steroids, which tapered down by December. And then it took 3 months for her cough to reduce. She restarted physiotherapy in March of 2024. And then eventually that led her to increase her oxygen flow requirement from 4 to 6 liters per minute on continuous flow, and from 2 to about 5 on the pulse machine for the months from December to March. And then since December 23, for her, just basic things like going to the washroom became a significant challenge. It used to take her 20 minutes to stabilize her breath after she came back out of the restroom. Taking a bath was very difficult and tiring for her. I remember multiple conversations that we used to have about how it's such a challenge to just do daily tasks. And sitting to standing and standing to sitting was always a big problem towards the end. And even walking made her breathless and would drop her SpO2 down to the 60s, which is quite low. So she eventually had to stop going for a car ride. She used to really enjoy going for the car rides. It was a good distraction for her once a day. Go see the scenery outside and then come back home. That was pretty much her only escape once she had retired from her position at the medical hospital. And so after that, the frequency reduced from February onwards. And in May of 24, it pretty much stopped because she needed to carry a lot more oxygen, which meant she had to carry at least 2 portable machines to go out, and 1 continuous flow, 1 portable in the car while doing nothing else, just sitting in the car. And we used to live on the ground floor, so it was even doable. But once that oxygen requirement went that high, she was pretty much bound to the house. And in her last few notes, she's written, "I'm tired and exhausted all the time." And June 24, she decided to go ahead and get the evaluation done for the lung transplant. And by July, we listed her for the lung transplant. On 5th of July, she got admitted to the ICU and passed away on 28th July, 2024.
So this last journey is just not only of the simple lung disease, it's a multiple disease evolving just not only because of the her health, but the also associated with the different aspect of the management. So it's a really hard to do, and you are just very well explained about that thing. And it's really a tremendous mental stress for the each and every close family member during her stay in the hospital or the at the home with oxygen. So definitely, please give me some idea about the what is the mental thing and how you are dealing with that stress.
Yeah.
Gayatri or Vishnu sir?
Gayatri, you want to?
So I'll speak first, and then even my brother would like to add his thoughts. So, good evening, everyone. My mother, Dr. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Please give your mental stress related things, because now we have to just having a half an hour left. So we have to many people to speak. Please.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So, my mother, Dr. Sujata Kanhere, was truly an inspiration to all of us. She was incredibly intelligent and creative, always striving for perfection in everything she did. A true fighter, she embodied discipline and determination. She instilled strong moral values in both her children and led by example, emphasizing the importance of kindness and respect for others. Despite being so accomplished, talented, and multifaceted, she was very humble and down to earth. She was a warm and affectionate person, making everyone around her feel loved and at ease. Her empathy and compassion were truly remarkable. She was an empathetic listener and could strike up a conversation with people from all walks of life. My mother was a remarkable teacher and had a profound impact on my life and the lives of many others. Her warmth and comfort created an environment where students felt safe to seek advice, not just academically, but personally as well. In January 2023, her dedication shone through when 30 of her students out of a batch of 50 at KJ Somaya Medical College achieved distinctions in pediatrics, including Dr. Ria, who earned 2 gold medals in pediatrics at MUHS. This success speaks volumes about her ability to simplify complex concepts, guiding her students to excellence. Even till the very end, her students remained in touch with her, which is a testament to the lasting impact she has on those around her. She was deeply passionate about treating patients and pioneered several projects in her hospital, including the Thalassemia Daycare, video EEG testing and reporting, the Neurodevelopment Clinic, and the Child Rehabilitation Center. She was incredibly hardworking, waking up every morning at around 4 a.m. to focus on her research, updating herself, writing papers, and organizing her day as the rest of the world slept. Even through the night, she would take calls from the hospital, providing her residents with precise guidance on treatments and medications for patients. She embodied confidence and preparation in every setting. Whether she was presenting at the prestigious World Health Organization or SARC meetings, or engaging in insightful discussions at her weekly journal club in the medical college, she approached each scenario with unwavering dedication and adaptability. She was always energetic, lively, and cheerful, never giving up in the face of challenges. She was able to see the positive in every situation, and she believed in living life to the fullest. She encouraged both of us to develop a sense of humor and to approach everything with a positive attitude. She was always there for her family, and her family was her top priority. She stayed in constant touch with her parents and was very involved in looking after her parents' well-being. Dr. Sujata was a dutiful daughter and even set up a home ICU for her mother and spent the night sitting next to her, even though she herself was in challenging health situations. As a mother, she was truly the best, always helping us with our studies, simplifying complex concepts. My mother thought that I could achieve anything, and she believed in me. She supported me and my brother in our studies, as well as extracurricular activities. She believed in work-life balance, and she would take us to watch a movie every Saturday and enjoy dinner afterwards. She was a very involved parent and encouraged open conversation after school every day, which fostered a strong bond between us. I remember when I was very sick, when I was very young, whenever I fell sick, maybe with high fever, my mother would stay up all night giving me sponge baths, spending time with me, watching TV, reading books. After that, she would wake up early to pack everyone's lunches and get my brother ready for school, leaving for work with hardly any sleep. Even though her interstitial lung disease had progressed and she was on oxygen 24/7 in the past 2 years, yet we were able to create countless cherished memories together. We went for car drives every day. exploring new places, and spending time watching new and old movies and TV shows which we had missed earlier. We played Scrabble and other word games and board games, and our tea time transformed into a special hour where we could have a discussion about many interesting things about life. In the past year and a half, we made the most of our time together. My mother took the opportunity to teach me essential skills, cooking everything from scratch and managing the household. These lessons were not just about practical skills, they were about nurturing resilience and independence. Through all these experiences, I've learned so much about life, love, and the importance of being there for one another. My mother has shown me how to approach challenges with grace and courage. Her passion for her work has left a lasting impression on all of us. Even after retiring in December 22, she didn't slow down. Throughout 23 and 24, she remained actively involved in ACCI meetings via Zoom. And in the last 2 years, she served as MBPC president, fulfilling all her duties well. She was a consultant in medical education at MUHS since January 23, where she spearheaded the Degree Plus program, conducting daily meetings to ensure project success. What amazes me the most is her determination to continue working even when she faced health challenges. With her oxygen concentrator by her side, she participated in every event, contributing with the same passion and enthusiasm as ever. She has taught me the true meaning of perseverance and having a strong work ethic. She was consistent with her physiotherapy and would do exercises for lung expansion and muscle strengthening twice a day, morning and evening, with her physiotherapists. She would also go for a walk regularly. She was dedicated to looking after herself so that she could be there for her family, and that is what made her pull through 10 long years enduring this disease, which is irreversible and has no known cure, with an expected lifespan of 5 years post-detection. Yet, she managed to live an active and fulfilling life of more than 10 years with the disease, all due to her consistent efforts and willpower. My mother has been an extraordinary role model for me, not only for me, but also for everyone who had the fortune of knowing her. Her legacy of hard work and commitment to her goals will forever inspire me. I salute her and aspire to emulate her courage, bravery, perseverance, and strength of character. Thank you so much. I would like to request my brother to speak also about his experience during the past.
Yeah, I'll just, if I can, I'll really quickly speak about, I think you asked regarding mental state and how it was on the family, right? So for me, as someone who was staying away, there was a big challenge when, even before this disease was detected, actually. In 2015, I decided to go to the US. It was hard on both my mother and me because we were very, very close to each other, being the firstborn. But she said, it's okay, it's the right thing to do. You must go. This is for your greater good. And so you must do it. And that was one characteristic of hers. If you've interacted with her, you would know she instilled, at least in us children, the right thing to be done attitude. And so that's what kept us going, even through her disease when she was not feeling too well. There was the thought of, okay, what's the right thing to do here? And so when she got diagnosed, actually in 2017, she made sure to prep us throughout this entire journey at different times in different ways. She thought of us even then, the giver that she was. So I remember I came home in 2017. She took me along to meet the chest physician, the lung expert, who then broke down the details of what that diagnosis means and its long-term implications. I didn't quite realize back then exactly what it meant, but she kept ensuring we were aware of what was about to happen, perhaps to even soften the inevitable blow for us. And throughout these years, not once did she complain in front of me, because she knew I was far away. She knew what impact it would have. From day one of being diagnosed with ILD all the way to the very last day in the ICU, she was always smiling. The people who were in the room when she finally passed away can also attest to that. She was smiling and she said, okay, now my time has come, so I better go. And I remember even during my master's thesis, I mentioned that she had this liver abscess issue that had come up. She and my father went through an elaborate effort to ensure I don't find out that she was in the hospital for a surgery. And so I ended up talking to her on the phone as if nothing had happened. And I go give my thesis defense. And just before I'd gone for my thesis defense, I spoke to my grandmother, who said, "Oh, yeah, and yeah, your mom's also in hospital, so maybe she didn't speak to you right now." And I said, "What? Why would she be in hospital?" She said, "Oh, no, to go see a patient, yeah." But I found her a little suspicious, and then later on, I found out she was in the hospital for that abscess removal surgery, which was quite risky. But mom took all that extra effort to make sure she was always jovial and upbeat, had an upbeat tone in her voice. And you might ask, why would she even bother doing that? Because she knew I would drop everything and fly back home at the drop of a hat if I knew about any of these procedures that were going on. I think for the heart attack that she had, the stent procedure for 6 months, they didn't even tell me because they knew what would happen. So overall, me and mom used to speak every day ever since I moved to the US, even if it was just 10 minutes as she was going to hospital, as she was coming back, or whenever we found a time, at least 10 minutes, sometimes it would even be an hour long or more than an hour long. And that was kind of our mutual therapy session. And despite being so far away, the bond was even stronger after I moved over to the United States. And then post 2021, we could see the health change that was happening. And so I really wanted her to come to the US. So they made that trip, and I tried to make it as memorable as possible. And then after that, the next 2 years after that last COVID, it was obvious that her condition was getting worse and worse. So I'd fly down every 3 to 4 months to be with the mom at home and be with the family. And then we'd go to the best restaurant, go see the best, like all the movies in the theaters, because that is something she really enjoyed. We'd go on drives together, go see the new bridges that were opening up in Mumbai. And so we really did our best to make the most of the time that we had, because we had limited time in terms of number of months and years. But then we thought if we spend as much of that time together doing memorable activities, we'd be able to live a little bit more than what time was offering us with her. And so, of course, I wish she had stayed with us forever, but she may not be with us physically, but all her good work, teachings, and impact continue to live on in her name.
So after hearing all three of the very close member, Dr. Vishnu sir, Gayatri and the Narayan, it's a really a family which what matters, what I interpret. It's a really a life journey is not only the one person's journey, it's a family journey. And being a woman, she so that she is a really a good potential, not only she good daughter, but also being a good mother, good wife, and ultimately a good human being, and that ultimately give a good strength to the her family. So now it's time to hear from the close family members who are really working hard to make a few video about their experience, starting with the Lieutenant General Surendra Kulkarni. Vishnu sir, can you introduce him so I can share the video of him? Unmute sir.
Yes, I unmuted. Sorry, I was muted. Well, her elder brother, Lieutenant General Surendra Kulkarni, he's really been there for us at all times, and our families are closely connected and intertwined, so to say. So he was director of Mayo College, where he had studied.
Namaskar.
Okay, fine, you can start now.
No, you can continue, then I will start.
No, you can start. So essentially, he has many decorations, but it is not just now about what he has. I think this background would be sufficient. But he's a very accomplished and well-decorated, very senior officer. And well, he has been a support, and he's as illustrious a career as Sujata's, right?
So this is a recorded message from him to give a homage to the madam.
Yeah, he's currently recovering from an illness, so he won't be able to speak. Yeah.
I am Surendra Kulkarni, the elder brother of Dr. Sujata Kulkarni. I was 8 years older than her, and therefore I think at present I am the only living person who has actually seen her literally from the time she was born in Kolkata. As the youngest in our family, she was not only pampered, but we also looked forward to her achievements and support as a girl child. In our family, there was no distinguishing between male and female siblings, and equal opportunities and chances were given to all of us. She had to move many schools because my father was in the army, but that helped her to adapt to new environments, new people, make new friends, and adjust beautifully in various types of diversity. She also was keen to become a doctor right from her younger days because amongst her toys and playful things, she often liked to play doctor, doctor, and we had to be willing and cooperative patients to her. The family also strongly encouraged this, as we were keen that we have a doctor in our family, which we hadn't had for many years. As she grew up, she turned out to be a most considerate and helpful friend and colleague. Her teachers always appreciated her for willing not only to help the teachers, but also to help her friends whenever they needed anything. She was very disciplined and organized, and once she came home from school, she would put away her things properly, have her meals, and diligently finish her homework. In fact, very often we had to tell her that she must go out and play and not to worry about these things. But she took things seriously. She was responsible. And by the time she finished school, she was quite clear in her mind that medicine was her chosen profession. We were all very happy and proud when she got admission in the Lady Hardinge Medical College in Delhi. And by the time she finished, she was very keen that she should pursue a further course in pediatrics. Later, she did complete her pediatrics and thereafter initially started working in Pune. By then, our son was born and she was kind of his first pediatrician. But typically, as it happens in any family, we did not take her seriously as she was the youngest, and we had a doctor living opposite our house who was a well-known pediatrician in Pune, and we would consult him regularly. But each time we found that her diagnosis and prescribed line of treatment was always spot on and exactly as he would suggest. As time went on, she chose to rather teach and do research than do full-time pediatric practice. And that took her to Bombay with her family, where she taught for many, many years. And she continued to be the family pediatrician, not only to my two children, but including my granddaughter. So my son and daughter-in-law would consult her for the smallest thing. Not only in her immediate line of pediatrics, I often referred any case that came to my notice of people who needed help, and I would refer to her and send the medical documents to her. Fortunately, by then WhatsApp and other devices were available, and she would either find out herself, do research, or consult her friends in the medical fraternity and come back with advice and solutions. So I know a number of people who are extremely grateful to her for having helped out at a time when they felt they were in dire straits. Not only that, she was never satisfied with how much she knew. She went on to upgrade her skills, even going to the UK to do an advanced course. And I'm sure all that came back as a contribution to the patients that she was dealing with. Her achievements in the field of medicine would be better known to all of you. But I can tell you that every time I had an emergency, she would catch the first flight and rush to wherever I was and be in attendance as my family doctor. There was a time when doctors could not diagnose what was wrong with me about 25 years ago, and she happened to be in Delhi for a conference, and she immediately consulted her friend in Bombay, and they confirmed that this is likely to be dengue, and it turned out to be the perfect diagnosis, and we attended it to in time just as I was coming close to a possible tragedy. She was a great mother to her two children who were born many years apart. But despite all her professional commitments, her family was always uppermost in her mind. And she was very, very loving to her children. She took care of my parents since I was away serving in the army for the last many years. And in the later stages, when my mother was unwell for over a year, she was at her house where she gave her excellent care, and it's to her eternal credit that even after being bedridden for 14 months, my mother moved on 5 years ago without a single bed sore. That says a lot for the quality of care that she arranged. Unfortunately, just when she had so much to offer, illnesses started catching up with her. Unfortunately, a few months ago, she could not fight back the illness anymore and she moved on. I think she went too early at the age of 62, but it was a life well lived and achievements were far in excess of what you would expect from a young person in today's times at the age of 62. So we continue to grieve her loss. We continue to miss her presence in our family. But I'm sure that the good she has done to so many people over the years will be her legacy and lasting memory. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
So it's a really a great pleasure that the person who lived just with since she born and she give us such a homage that how she particular about that thing, and that is the everything what give a good strength to fight against this 10-decade disease. So now next close relative is a Professor Gopal Kanare. Vishnu sir, please introduce him.
Professor Gopal Kanere is my eldest brother. As I told you, the two of us had gone for getting introduced to Sujata, who eventually became my wife. So he knows her since the time she entered or she was about to enter into my life. He is a professor emeritus, a town planner and an architect. Yeah, you can play.
Yes.
The significance of Dr. Sujata Kanere's contributions. These are some which are really outstanding. She was very humble, very approachable, and very kind to the children whom she treated. She interacted with all various faculty and staff members where she was working and made things happen. Somebody who could see that things have to develop. She was also very up to date in the information, in the latest developments in the field which she worked. And most importantly, as a family member, she always took good care, attended to us, even in spite of, for the last 10 years, she was really suffering, as we all know, from lung ailment, and yet she took good care of us. That's how we remember her.
Thank you, sir, for giving us such a good insight about that thing. One of our professional colleague, Dr. Bela Verma, is already here, and she want to express her view. So, can I, Madam Bela, Madam, can you give your expression with because we have now very short time
Yes.
is there, so please give in short, please.
Yeah, I'm going to speak very briefly. I'll just share my PPT on her. So actually, I have heard so much about ma'am for the first time from her senior colleagues, her children, her husband, that I'm very emotional right now and overwhelmed. I don't know if I can really speak, but her life has been truly inspirational. And she has worked in Central IP as well as Mumbai IP for many, many years. I first came in contact with ma'am about 14 years ago when she contacted me to take a talk for the PG clinic. And I had gone to the SAN office for the first time, and there I sat and spoke to her, and I came to know her. And she told me how she works. She was an EB member at that time, and she remained an EB member for many years. And so on behalf of IP Mumbai, I'm just sharing a few of her, experiences with us. So on behalf of the present President, Dr. Nehal Shah, the past President, Dr. Rajesh Chokhani, President-elect Dr. Rajesh Khasla, I would just like to say that she always participated as a very enthusiastic organizing committee member. She always wanted to be in the organizing committee and would see that she did her part for whatever work she was given. I have learned a lot from her by working with her closely. Also, she was just like an elder sister. Both of us took a liking to each other, and during my election in the last 2 years, she was a guide and advisor to me, a very strong supporter, and she would call and tell me, I have called up so many people today for you, and I have asked them all to vote for you in whatever capacity you stand any time for any post. I will be there to get you votes. However, she also used to tell me, I don't know how much time I have, and I would always say, ma'am, don't say like that. You will get better, and may God give you a long life. Extremely good human being, very honest, very outspoken, lively, very frank personality. She never shied away from calling a spade, and that is what she used to tell me, Bela, don't be scared. Always speak out your mind and share whatever you want to share. Don't be scared of anybody. So I just have a very few photographs of her, which we shared in the IP Mumbai office. This is during the marriage of Dr. Vijay Tuteja's son, when for the first time I met Vishnu sir and her daughter Gayatri. And the photograph, we can also see Dr. Sharath Menon sir and his wife, Dr. Ritu Menon. This is a gang over there. This is during the NCDP 2017, where she was an organizing secretary with us. This is on stage in 2017 for the NCDP. We used to celebrate, I loved celebrating everyone's birthday by bringing a cake to our meetings at the IIP Mumbai office. And this is during Dr. Anand Chandelia's birthday, where ma'am used to always be present for our office bearers or an executive board members meeting. She would make it a point to be there at the IP office. And this is during September 2018, where we had planned an evening for all the past presidents and senior colleagues of IIP Mumbai. This is again in our office, and we can see Dr. Varsha Phadke ma'am, who is the Dean of Samaya, along with Dr. Uday Pai, Dr. Bipin Shah, Dr. Samir Dalwai. Ma'am was always there. This is during my president's installation, where she is on stage with me to share my happiness. This is in 2018. All I can say is that not all blessings are in the form of money. Sometimes having people in our life who truly care for us is a greater blessing. I'm really going to miss ma'am, and I already do miss her. May God bless her and give her family members courage to overcome this gap which has been because of her absence. we'll miss her always. We'll miss her warm smile and her interactions. I always will miss ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Bella Madam, with a very crisp and the excellent presentation about the what the you would live with, Madam. And this is the thing what we will really hear together, understanding the how the she lived Zara Hatke life, and it will be the really a very emotional moment for each and everyone who really coming with the in front and with the along with the life of the Madam. So now it's time from to give us some memorandum to her and her life members. Before we go proceed for the few more video with us for the about the life experience with her. And this video is really specifically prepared by the Dr. Surekha Joshi and Mrs. Hatke. They are taken out all painstaking, and my special thanks to the Dr. Aji Patil from sending the memento from the Nagpur to the Dr. Vishnu Kanare sir and his resident, and both Dr. Surekha Joshi and Mrs. Parke to hand over this memento on behalf of the Aki. I am sharing that video of that sharing of the memento, and then we can proceed further for the remaining video and the further proceedings. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
I am Dr. Surekha Joshi, Research Coordinator of Aki. I am very glad to give this memento in memory of Dr. Sujata Kanere to her husband, Mr. Kanere.
Thank you, ma'am. I accept this honor and the appreciation award on behalf of the family. And I'm very thankful to Aki and all their functionaries. Thank you so much.
Actually, this memento is given by Aki and ethical committee as well as Aki family. And actually today it is very difficult for me to express myself because I have got a mixed feeling. I am very happy to appreciate Dr. Sujata Kanere's work and give this memento, but at the same time I am very sad also because she is not there, but even then I have the feeling that she is with us and she must be very happy.
Thank you for your kind words and your remembrance, and I also thank Mrs. Farke, who is a close family friend and a mentor along with her husband for our entire family, ourselves, myself, Sujata, as well as the children. And I'm so happy and glad that she is present and she has given this shawl on behalf of Aki to me. Thank you so much, everyone.
Aki is happy to hold a webinar Zindagi Zara Hatke in memory of Sujata Kanere, and in her lifetime whole family has supported till the end, and I am very happy to give this medal to her daughter also, and so that I can appreciate their contribution in Sujata's life.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you for holding this webinar in honor of my.
So my sincere thanks to Dr. Sujata Madam and the, Mrs. Farke. If they are available, they can speak up few words, and then we can move further regarding the few more video about the what they are the few specific person who are specifically having a special role in the life of the madam that we will project.
Surekha
Yes,
Joshi,
Surekha,
are you there?
Hello.
Yes, Surekha.
I'm very thankful that Aki has given me the opportunity to felicitate and give memento to Dr. Kanere. And I'm really, I have no words and I am very much speechless. And already I had written a small poem on her. But to talk in English, I would like to say that she was like a sunlight. She was as bright as sunlight. and she has spread that sort of light in our lives. As her name suggests, her beauty, her inner and outer beauty is remarkable. And when I heard the family members talking about her illness and how they have coped with the things, and when I have met Dr. Kanhere, Mr. Kanhere, daughter Gayatri, I was really speechless and overwhelmed and very much inspired by the whole family. When Gayatri was talking to us, I thought as if small Dr. Sujata Kanhere is in front of us and her presence was felt. And I'm really speechless. And it is really inspirational life, what she has led, and how the family is coping with this loss. It is remarkable. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for your inputs. And now it's time to move forward for the few more videos by the close friend, one of the madams, that Dr. Mrs. Sandhya Mahajan. Sir, you want to introduce Vishnu sir to her?
Very close family. In fact, she knew Sujata right from junior college days, and they have a special bond. She has often come and stayed. So let's hear from her herself what she has to say about Sujata.
Most of you know Dr. Sujata as a respected and knowledgeable professional. Though she has achieved a lot academically, she was still a very humble and simple person. I knew her since our junior college days, and she was always my closest friend. We could meet only occasionally in all these years, but the bond was very strong. I always admired her for her warmth, loyalty, and for her never-failing optimism. Even when her disease progressively incapacitated her, she never lost the will to fight and to overcome it. When my daughter qualified as a radiologist and worked in Mumbai for a couple of years, she guided her on how to balance professional and personal life successfully. I had an opportunity to spend a few days with her last year at her home, and those memories I will treasure forever. She will always hold a very special place in my heart. Thank you.
Next one is the Dr. Mrudula Phadke madam. Very close association with her, with the Dr. Sujata madam being a one associate colleague. Sir, you want to introduce?
Actually, Swati Bhave ma'am would say better about her, because I only will say two things. One is she was former Vice Chancellor of MUHS, and she's practically on so many international bodies. And one special thing about her, she was an examiner for she along with Nilima Kshirsagar ma'am and the Pro Vice Chancellor. The three were examiners for her PhD thesis defense. So I remember when we were going to Nasik, traveling to Nasik, she telling me that this is really my test because all my gurus are going to be my examiners. So let's hear.
Swati madam, you want to say something?
Yeah, Mrudula Phadke is my mentor also. She's a wonderful human being, academician, clinician, and a very warm person. And I'm very happy that she's come on this program and she's sharing her thoughts about Sujata.
Good evening, friends.
My screen is visible, right?
Yeah, we can hear her.
Just 2-3 days back, I received a phone call from a person speaking very softly, very gently, and very affirmatively, as though I thought that I knew this person for a long time. And it was Vishnu Kanhere, our late dear Dr. Sujata Kanhere's husband. He told me that I should share with you some of my good memories. It is with a heavy heart that I speak about Dr. Sujata Kanhere, because I felt very sad due to her very untimely demise. I knew Dr. Sujata Kanhere for many years, initially as a very bright undergraduate and postgraduate student in pediatrics, and then she became the faculty and began to teach in medical colleges. Extremely interested in the study of pediatrics, extremely interested in acquiring more and more knowledge with a great academic fervor. I thought that Professor Dr. Sujata was one of the best teachers in the medical colleges. She soon thought of furthering her academic career and joined as a PhD student. When I came to know her further, her understanding of pediatrics, her understanding of behavioral and developmental pediatrics, the neurological diseases in pediatrics, made me feel very impressed by her, and it culminated into her doing some fundamental work and acquiring her PhD. After that, Dr. Sujata Kanere joined one of the COMHAD groups, Commonwealth Association of Health and Disabilities, and I came to know her more. She, in fact, suffered with respiratory problems, and one day, for one COMHAD meeting, she came to me with a small oxygen cylinder in her hand, and she required oxygen, yet her zeal and zest never stopped her. She discussed everything very nicely in the COMHAD meeting, was as enthusiastic as what she normally is, and participated very vocally. I thought that was one thing that I learned from Sujata Kanere, that even with such adversities, she continued her academic fervor. A very devoted and a keen researcher, a good academician, and above all, I think an excellent human being. I must say that I'm very, very happy to remember all these good points of Professor Dr. Sujata Kanere, and I hope and pray to God that all her near and dear ones, her friends and all her colleagues and her students would continue the path of goodness and continue the path of the zeal and zest that she showed ever for years to come. Thank you.
Next will be Dr. Priyanka Mukherjee. Sir, you can introduce her.
Yeah. Actually, Priyanka ma'am was
Hello everyone. I'm Dr.
here
Priya.
in Somaya, so I think you can start. She'll introduce herself in the video.
Hello everyone. I'm Dr. Priyashri Mukherjee. I'm a consultant pediatrician at KJ Somaya Medical College. That's the same hospital where Dr. Sujata ma'am had spent her entire career for the well-being of so many patients. My association with her started around 12 years ago. Although we worked together for 5 years, this is the same room on the same corridor where we met 12 years back, and 2 years later we started working together in the same institute, in the same department. Working with her was not just work, it was a combination of learning, work and fun. We had many things in common, and it didn't take any time for us to bond, and very soon she was like a family to me. Her dedication towards the patients was limitless. Her priority was always patients. She loved her patients, and she would not let anybody interfere unnecessarily in any of her patient work. That's the dedication and commitment she had. She was available throughout for all sorts of difficulties related to department. Any difficulties that we faced, she was always there to solve. And definitely for her critically ill patients, she was always available. So that was Sujata ma'am. Dr. Sujata Kanere, it was a brand. and she has created a legacy that we are carrying forward in this institute. Madam was not just a boss. Okay. Boss is too small a word for explaining what she was to us. When I joined this institute, she realized that even my mother is born in the same year as she was born. And the first statement that she uttered to me was, "Riyashri, I'm like your mom to you." And that statement was such a beautiful, welcoming statement for me. That very moment, I just got bonded, I just got attached to her, and it just took away all my hesitations. That day, till we worked together, even after that, after she left the hospital because of her ill health, we were in touch. The bond did not cease. It became stronger and stronger as the time went by. As a doctor, she was brilliant, she was organized. As an administrator, she was extraordinary. As a person, she was vibrant. For us, she was a godmother. From her preachings, from her life, we knew that she was an excellent mother. So, Sujata ma'am was all in one. Wherever she is now, I truly believe that her soul rests in peace. A good person, a wonderful person. Ma'am, your life is worth being cherished. You will always be there in our memories as long as we are there, and we'll be missing you directly till we meet. Thank you. And I would like to thank Vishnu sir, dear Gayatri, and also AACCI for giving me this opportunity to talk to you, to express my feelings, because I was truly overwhelmed when I got a call from sir, and I really felt that importance, and thank you for making me feel that important. I'm really obliged. Thank you very much.
One more last video that is from this Neha.
Yeah, Dr. Sneha is another junior colleague of us. She worked under Sujata. So.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Sneha Nagpure. And first of all, I would like to thank the team for organizing this beautiful remembrance event. It's truly heartwarming to see everyone come together in honor of Sujata ma'am, who has left an indelible mark on all our lives. I first met ma'am when I joined Somaya Medical College and Hospital as an assistant professor, and she was the head of department then. And though she was recovering for a recent health challenge, including an angioplasty, her commitment to work was unmatched. It was impossible to tell she was unwell unless you knew her personally. Her dedication to her patients, students, and the profession was awe-inspiring. Despite the pressures of her role, she was always present, always working hard, and her strength just amazed me. I remember especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, when everything shifted online, she led us all through it, managing online education for medical students, clinical schedules, and exams with a breeze. Even though I wasn't that tech savvy, she pushed me, supported me, and made sure I never felt alone in the process. She was generous with her praise, but equally sharp in maintaining discipline. The times we worked together for the MCI inspections were a steep learning curve from me transitioning from a resident to a newly lecturer or assistant professor role. She taught me how to pay attention to the smallest details and how to present things to make a lasting impression. As a teacher, she was always open with guidance. I was the only female lecturer at that time, and she was a constant source of encouragement to me. Whether it was helping me organize rosters, clinics, exams, she was there guiding me and making sure I was progressing not only professionally but personally too. She often reminded me of the importance of balancing work and a family life, a balance I struggled with since I lived with my parents and I had two young daughters. Her advice to wake up just 30 minutes earlier each day made a profound difference in my life, helping me create a smoother morning routine for all of us, but it also improved my relationship with my mother. And when I was considering leaving this job for a higher paying job with the opportunity to venture into a private practice, she was the first person I turned to for advice. She encouraged me to take that leap, and I'm ever grateful for her support. Even now, as I train in Australia and face the challenges of being away from my family for my rural term, she was my rock strength and reminded me that I do have the strength to see through it and that bold steps are necessary for growth. As a person, Madam was not only a wonderful teacher and mentor, but also deeply kind and considerate. She always acknowledged the contributions of everyone around her, be it admin staff, the nursing staff, or even the clerical staff. I will never forget the lunches she organized to thank everyone after exams or inspection. She celebrated birthdays, festivals, and milestones with the same warmth and enthusiasm as she showed with same care and kindness to all of us, allowing us flexibility with our work schedules to accommodate our home lives. She had an incredible impact on everyone who had the privilege of knowing her, and I am grateful for all the ways she's touched my life. Madam's lessons, both professionally and personally, will stay with me forever. Thank you again for organizing this event. It is a true testament to the legacy she has left behind. Thank you.
I know we are just crossing the limit of the time for the 15 minutes more or about what we had decided, but it's a really emotional event for all of the us, and that's why we just see that nobody still leave the this today's program, and it's a really a time to come some and we can go for some open forum presentation also. But before that, I requesting Dr. Vishnu Kandre sir to give us some inputs about the what is he think over the overall life experience with her. One thing, and second thing, I think one mentor, Dr. Kane sir, also send a message to him. So please read about that message also.
Thank you. I'll read Dr. Kenshaw's message. He couldn't come personally. He couldn't log in because he is traveling. He's in Bangalore and probably between flights. So he's more than 90. He was just honored by IAP Pediatric Neurology chapter with a Lifetime Achievement Award in Goa. So that's about him. I'll read out the message now. Dr. Sujata was known to me for last nearly 30 years. She joined Wadia Children's Hospital in 1996 to get training in pediatric epilepsy and neurology in our unit and worked there for 2 years as epilepsy research officer. Later on, she joined Somaiya Medical College and became the head of pediatric and neonatology department. She also established pediatric neurology and epilepsy department in Somaiya Medical College, which became a good reference center for pediatric neurological disorders. As a student, she was very sincere, hardworking, and very keen to learn and expand her knowledge, which she utilized in teaching students when she was in charge of pediatric department at Somaiya. She used to come even on Sundays to collect data for publishing articles in scientific journals. Because of her good, helpful nature, she became very popular amongst colleagues, not only in Mumbai, but also all over India. Even after leaving our department, she used to meet me or phone regularly and discuss various things, not only medical, but other family-related issues, particularly her health. In her demise, I have lost a very close family member, and it will be very difficult to forget Sujata, not only by me, but also by all her pediatric colleagues all over India. May her soul rest in peace and give enough strength to her family to bear her loss. That's her. Well, You want me to summarize? I'll just quickly tell one small. I mean, I believe an epic, an episode or some incident which has happened always leaves a lasting impression than anything else. This is something which happened on 31st December, as Narayan had earlier shared, that that was the day on which she underwent angioplasty for her 2 stents which were put in. She had cardiac issue, but fortunately she was in the hospital. So why I'm specifically saying this is because that is when we realized her close connect. How a person can get लोगों से जुड़ जाना जो होता है, how a person can get connected with an institution, with students and with everyone, because over those 2 to 3 days when she was in the hospital and admitted in ICU, and I was also there with her all the time, and so was Gayatri in between. So what happened was the entire college, let me tell you, the hospital, there is a college as well as an attached hospital, the director, the dean, the HODs, the teachers, her residents, students who were alumni, the matron, the sisters, the ayabais, the maushis, the mamas, and right up to the chairman. When I was in the room, the chairman came in and said, "How are you?" And what is he telling her? Go home. Because even there, some residents had come asking, what should I do? And she was telling that from her bed. Okay, do this, do that. So, if I or you or anyone else falls sick, I don't know, even if our close family members, maybe 4 or 5 people will come and see you. But here it became such a crowd that eventually the sister said, and she couldn't stop anyone because all of them were hospital staff. So she said, we'll put a CCTV or whatever, that remote TV outside, and you look at her from there. Please let us carry on with treating her. So that is the kind of close bond and deep connect which she could formulate with people. And there's one more thing I remember, and I'll end with that. Basically, personally, she was my driving force. So it was like, she did something, I did something. She was a doctor, so I thought now I should also be. So I did my PhD, and she went there and did her PhD. So what she used to always say, केल्याने होता आहे रे आधी केलेच पाहिजे, यत्न तो देव जाणावा अंतरी धरिता बरे. That is what she always used to say. And I really thank Aki to give me this opportunity to share, because she's really a role model, and a source of inspiration in the many things which she did for all of us. It's a great loss. Her passing away is no doubt a loss. But we all remember and cherish her, because even in the end, what she said was, she thanked all the doctors. So basically what she said is, life is a celebration, and now let me pass. I have done whatever I could for everyone. Now you do your job. Let me have peace. That's what she had said in the end. And we remember her fondly even today, right? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the each and every one who we are just join us to remember the madam's memory. It's a really a great Zara Hatke Zindagi lived by her. It is the life. What does it truly means to life? A fulfilling life. It's a beyond the diagnosis. It lies a life rich with the experience, challenges, and trumps. And family is the ultimately the strength which give all the strength to us to give all the diverse situation and coming out with a full strength. And last but not the least, what I can say, she is able to do all these things and justice to her life because she is the woman, and she is able to do that because she is a woman, and that's why she overweight the men, and that's why the every stage is, it's a really a great fulfillment for me also to become a moderate this session. And before we can conclude, we can having a few more minutes to having an open forum. So if anybody want to express some fulfilling, please be express that in a short.
Please put up your hand so that we can call out the name. Rajesh, would you like to speak?
Yeah, hi. So, as ma'am Swati Bhave ma'am already said, I first met Sujata during the PALS courses, and we did many courses together. And all along in Mumbai IIP, I mean, we were relatively junior in Mumbai IIP, but Sujata was always very encouraging to all of us, to me, to Nehal, who's the current president, and even Amruta, who's a treasurer. Amruta was here a minute back, and she was telling me she was a lecturer at Sujata's place at Somaya. Her kids were very young, and Sujata was so accommodative with her lecturer's post, managing very young kids and the post together. So I think all in all, we were really blessed to be associated with Sujata, and we'll miss her. Thank you.
Yes,
Anita
and
Vagre, are you there? Are you able to connect? Amol Pawar, you want to say something? Nilmala Dharap, you knew her well. You want to speak? Okay, I think since
yes, Prabhu, it's now already
Amol, you want to
8:50.
speak? Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for taking my name and calling me. Actually, I heard lot many things about late Dr. Sujata Kanere, madam. She was very great teacher, and she has contributed to Indian Academy of Pediatrics in various ways she could. And really, this program, this session, I just heard. I have just joined from 9:10, and I have heard each and every word, and all these videos and all these remembrance, and whole program was. I'm thrilled, and I have messaged Swati ma'am also about this idea about this program and the background and everything. So really, this was amazing, and I heard from Dr. Vishnu whatever Dr. Vishnu said. Her daughter and her son said it was really a very memorable journey she had in her entire life. So thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Amol. Anybody else? I just want to say Vishnu and Gayatri and Narayan, whatever you have discussed, she was so proud of her two children. And Vishnu, she used to always share what a support you are. And I remember when she had to go for the graduation ceremony of Narayan, and she was really thinking whether she should go or not. We had such a prolonged discussion, and she said, Swati, ma'am, I'm just going to go. I don't care what happens, but I have to be there for my son's convocation. And I remember her grit and her planning, etc. And she was so happy when she came back, saying, ma'am, I achieved it. I was there for my son. And I still remember that. And Gayatri, you were a darling pet. She used to say she's come 10 years after uh, Narayan, and it's so lovely to be a mother again. And she used to share so many sweet things about you. I still remember what a proud mother she was. And as Narayan said, she used to always tell me, I'm taking care not to tell Narayana, otherwise he'll come running from USA. And she was so much concerned that Narayan doesn't get upset and continues his studies and doesn't come back to India. So all what you have said, she used to share with me. And I'm sure wherever she is today, if we believe in God and soul, she's listening to all of this. And whatever time she had on this earth, she had lovely, lovely friends, families, children, husband. And I think, though it was a shorter life than many people, I think she lived a real fulfilled life. And जिंदगी बड़ी नहीं होनी चाहिए लेकिन बहुत दुरुस्त होनी चाहिए, and she lived every moment. If there is nobody else now discussing, Samir, would you like to wind up?
Yes, madam, and it's a really a great pleasure for all of you to with discussing with you all. Being a moderator, I sincerely thanks on behalf of the AKI to all the members of the Kandre family to remain and express their views and give us a chance to give a good homage to the madam. And it's a really lovely we can say start from the evening and it's coming to the late night of 11 a.m. and p.m. and we are all still discussing with a full zeal about the madam. So it's itself shows the how energetic she is. She is giving a full energy to us to discuss till the 11 p.m. also. So my sincere thanks for the each and every participant to remain and we will definitely meet with a one more episode of the Zindagi Zara Hatke with a one new participant who is really give a good life journey and give a good lesson to us. Till that, thank you to the Aki on good night to her. Thank you.
Narayan, Gayatri and Vishnu, I have a request. If you can please send me a write-up of all what you have shared. I'd love to put this on the Aki website. I mean, you
Sure,
all
sure.
have discussed it so beautifully. And Narayan, you are half a doctor. The way you described her medical history was just amazing, as if you are a resident medical doctor, the way you described it. And I think that
No,
would
I
be
want to share
wonderful to put on
something,
the
you know,
website.
if you permit me, I want to share
Yeah.
something. What happened was when he was giving his CET, I mean, when he was doing his 11th and 12th, she suggested to him to take bio also. So he was saying, why do we want, I'll take that maths or XTC, whatever it is, because you get full marks there. There's no take bio. And when you give your CET, also give the bio CET. And actually he had got a admission in the medical college. So then he told her, look, I have done what you told me to, but I don't want to become a CA or a doctor. I want to be a chemical engineer. And so that's what he became. But yes, that's why he has a flair for bio and medicine, probably come to him from his mother, but he had other thoughts. So that's his
Definitely
personal
had
wish.
genes, since history taking was superb, history presentation.
It's a family of the combination of the CA and biology and the engineering. It's
Yeah.
right.
So do send the write-up whenever you three can, and we'll
Yes.
put it on the website. Samir is in charge of our website. Samir will put it in the appropriate place
We'll do that.
on the website.
Okay, right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everybody. Samir Sadavarte,
Thank you.
say anything?
Thank you, Sushma, ma'am. Actually, you are
Yes, madam.
suffering from chikungunya. Still, you high fever. You could come.
I know. Sushma is another amazing person. I want to have a Zindagi Zara Hatke on her life also. She's amazing. Yes, Samir, you wanted to say Sadavarte?
Thank you.
Madam was our teacher. I was working in the KG Somay hospital, and that time, Madam Varsha Hatke, Madam, and then Dr. Seminarani, they were there. So with working as such, what I remember was Sujata Madam was always protective because Seminarani was very strict, and whatever mistake used to do, Madam used to take on her own and saying, no, I told Samir to do this and that. And then that time, Irani Madam used to say, such a stupid man, he doesn't know certain basic thing. You should have tell him something. So that way, Madam has protected a lot. And I feel her as like a mother. In fact, every time in the month of May, I used to send her Happy Mother's Day week and Happy Mother's Day this one. Last 2 years when she was very sick, she used to call every now and then. And I used to also call her every now and then and tell about what's happening nearby around the areas. And she's always enthusiastic. Lot of things. I have a lot of photos I will share with you guys, with everyone. And Madam, I worked with her in the WHO programs and all this one. Wherever she used to go, along with Seminarani Madam, they used to take me, and sometimes Varsha Vidya Madam also used to come with us. And I learned a lot from her, not about the pediatrics part, but also about how to take care of the pediatrics, newborn patients, NICU patients, neurological patients. She was knowing each and everything about all our neurological patients. I used to keep her data for 6 months. Almost we have 200 pediatric neurology patients. And for her, each patient was knowing like her own son. She used to treat like knowing all the basic things. People used to come to meet her and tell about their own stories about the relatives and all these ones. And Madam used to give them a lot of support. I have seen it personally when I worked for 2 years as a DNB student in KG Somay Hospital.
Thank you, Sadavarte.
So
you can share all the photos.
we were knowing at some
We'll make
point,
an
Madam
album.
is so sick.
Last but not the least, I think
Yes, I will share that one.
Yeah, Shillong girl, just do the concluding.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Samir.
Yeah. Yes, madam. Bye, madam.
I don't know what to conclude, but you all have spoken so high of Sujata. And I've just learned so many things about her. Well, I can only say that she was a very much a Shillong girl. And if you remember her, and if you, I don't know if you all have seen that she has actually always worn the Khasi earrings that she actually made it from here. And I think she looks beautiful in them. She'll always be my Shillong girl. So thank you so much. I think she had that humor from us. Definitely the humor from us, and definitely much of the funny things that she would do from the Reda Convent. So thank you so much, everybody. Really learned so much about her.
All good things have come to an end, and I mean, she was such a mammoth figure that we can spend another 1 hour talking about her. But whatever you want to share more, please send it to, I'm just putting on the email. We can discuss. And as I said, whenever we are going to put on the details about her on the website, we'll be happy to add the photos and everything. So now we have to really definitely end, though we just don't want to stop thinking about her. Thank you again, Vishnu, Gayatri, and Narayan, Sushma, Bela, everybody who has spoken about her, Rajesh, and not last but the least, Samir Shah. He and Vishnu have worked really very hard, both of them over the last whole month, to make this memorable, and Surekha Joshi and Mrs. Patke, who made the wonderful video with the family. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Aki.
Thank you.
Thank you, Samir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Good
Vishnu.
night. Good night.
Thank